Mm-hmm. Hello there! What? What's up, my insaps? Welcome to my channel. So, the results are in, and it's not gonna be what you're expecting. So, the last time we were face to face like this, I was explaining an experiment I was gonna conduct on my channel this month to kind of figure out what shows I wanted to keep on YouTube and which one I wanted to move on and switch over as my Patreon exclusive. In the original video, if you haven't seen it, go check out this video first so that you understand what I'm talking about in this video. This is basically a follow-up, a part 2, if you will, or as I'm titling it, the results. So in that video, I explained that I was going to, since Hilda was not doing well, I had posted the first 3 episodes of Hilda on YouTube, and it actually started to really affect my algorithm in a negative way, and it was bringing the numbers down, which is not good. For those of you who really know how the YouTube stuff works behind the scenes, you really have to try and work hard to keep consistency in your numbers and your viewership and your engagement in order to, you know, make this a career. And so unfortunately, Hilda was actually hurting the channel, and so I decided to use the idea that Let's Reacts does, and they basically react to like the first episode or the first couple episodes of a couple different shows and then select the ones that had the best engagement. And so I did that. I used Vox Machina and Ruby as my test subjects, and let me tell you, the Ruby community, the Vox fandom and community came in pretty strong too, but yo, you Ruby fans really surprised the shit out of me with your engagement. That blew up and popped off so quickly and so fast on the channel, which I'm actually really happy about because I am thoroughly enjoying Ruby. I've already just like fallen headfirst in. I'm hooked, I'm into it. So it was really nice that it was getting that kind of response online. In second place was Vox Machina. Vox is actually right there, right below Ruby when it comes to views, engagement, all of that. Because it's not just the view count that matters, it's a lot of other numbers and stuff we see behind the scenes and the analytics of everything. But so Ruby and Vox were right there. Now, you're probably expecting me to say now that Vox Machina will be the Patreon exclusive and Ruby will stay, and then Hilda will be at a later date. That's not the case. So, what I have actually come to discover, which surprised me more than anything, was that Hilda actually did better than DuckTales is currently doing. Now, I know you DuckTales fans are probably just really upset at me mentioning that, because now that means a show that was never in the original experiment, was never an intended variable, is now an intended variable. Because now my DuckTales videos are actually doing worse than what Hilda was doing, which really surprises me because DuckTales was originally doing fairly well, and I don't know what happened, but this month DuckTales tanked. It has been number 10 the entire time, which is not a good thing. They give you a top 10 list, basically. I explained this a little bit in my last video, but they give you a top 10 list of like how your most recent top 10 videos are doing, and DuckTales is dead last. So I'm comparing that to how Hilda was doing at the time, and it wasn't great. So these are the results, and I apologize ahead of time if this upsets a handful of you guys or many of you guys who are fans of these certain shows I'm going to now explain and list off. But unfortunately I have to do this if I want to maintain a consistent flow on my channel, you know, engagement rate, algorithm, all of that stuff, which all comes into play into doing YouTube full time. So I have to do it. And so because of the results, this is my final decision. Ruby will continue to be posted on YouTube and Patreon from here on out. Vox Machina will continue to be posted on YouTube and Patreon from here on out. And DuckTales will now become my Patreon exclusive. I really put a lot of thought into this decision because I know I am 9 episodes in for DuckTales posting on YouTube, which is a pretty shitty thing for me to do, to just switch it over to Patreon and to not include Hilda now at all. But here's what happened. So because it's going to be a Patreon exclusive, I decided to give my patrons, my current patrons, the vote on whether they wanted Hilda or DuckTales to be the next Patreon exclusive, since they're going to be the ones that are getting it. And DuckTales won the poll by a lot. Hilda, unfortunately, has about 1/3 of the votes, while DuckTales has 2/3 of the votes. So that is my final decision. Now, this does not mean that I will completely never return to Hilda ever again. That's not what I'm saying. It just means I will not return to Hilda until a later date. How later? That I'm not so sure of, just because there are other shows coming back that will be taking priority on my channel. Examples will be Heartstopper coming back in October and Arcane coming back in November. When those shows come out, I will be making those my priority. So that means other shows will be put on pause with consistent posting, and I will be working extra hard to try and get more of the current shows up and more of those reactions up on the channel and on Patreon. So when Heartstopper comes around, I'm going to try really hard to get more Heartstopper up, and then Arcane, super important. So I'm going to work really hard to get those up as well. And then once those shows finish, once I finish with the new Heartstopper season and the new Arcane season, I will just go back to the regular schedule of Dragon Prince, Vox Machina, Ruby, etc. Just fair warning for when that time comes, so that way you guys aren't, you know, completely scattered as to, whoa, what happened to her other reactions? They will be returned to. It's just certain shows will be taking priority since they are current. So yeah, that is the final results and decisions of my experiment. Again, I apologize to any DuckTales fans that are not going to be able to join the Patreon and are upset about this. This doesn't mean that DuckTales won't ever come to YouTube. Just like Infinity Train, I do eventually plan on bringing Patreon exclusive videos to YouTube. They will just probably come when I have open slots and there's not a bunch of new stuff coming out, and I have open slots for those reactions to be put up. So don't worry, this isn't a full, like, you're never gonna see it. It just means that it might take a while to see it, if that makes sense, which probably doesn't make you feel better, and I'm so sorry, but it is just something I have to do from a professional standpoint, unfortunately. But for the Ruby and Vox Machina fans, go ahead and celebrate. Those will be now staying on YouTube and Patreon, along with Dragon Prince. So the 3 shows that will be continued on YouTube for the time being are Ruby, Vox Machina, and the Dragon Prince, and my new Patreon exclusive is going to be DuckTales. I thank you guys so much for helping me with this experiment, for being supportive, especially I've been on vacation in Scotland the last 3 weeks, so thank you for your patience there and for your continued support. This being said though, I do ask that you do continue to engage with the videos, because if they start dropping again in views now that the experiment results are final, that would be really crappy and would really hurt the algorithm again. So just like, don't lose the momentum. If these are shows you want to watch and you want to see reactions to, please continue to engage with them. And that's not just for me, like I mean that for other YouTube creators and other, especially reactors, my fellow reactors actually, especially Morgan Terry, We Last Reacts, Darkrai, all of you guys. It really helps. And even if it's an episode that maybe you're not too keen on watching, just have the video play in the background or something, or have it playing on your phone and not use it. It actually hurts our algorithm if you like start watching a video and then click away or don't watch it fully. I don't know why. YouTube algorithm is very particular. But yeah, so I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the support. I thank you so much to all the new people who have joined the Patreon. I had such a big boom and boost on Patreon from new people who wanted to see the full Ruby and Vox Machina reactions. So thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate you guys on YouTube who continue to watch, even if maybe these results are a little frustrating. You know, you fans mean a lot to me. You mean everything to me, because without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this full time. So it really does mean a lot. Your engagement, your love, your comments, your support, all of it. All of it. Really appreciate it. And I look forward to finishing these shows. So again, guys, I thank you all so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing your continued comments and excitement for these future reactions. So until next time, bye!